And Kyle, in his 6th start in this all-star tilt, picks up the checkered flag for the first time.
Nose all caved in.
and that was a back. Kyle Busch just got his contract extended with Childress Racing. But here's the thing nobody wants to talk about. He hasn't won a race in almost 70 tries, and they only gave him 1 more year. Let's break down what really happened here and why this announcement might not be the good news everyone's pretending it is. On Saturday, May 24th, 2025, right before the big Coca-Cola 600 race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, RCR made it official. Kyle Busch will drive the number 8 Chevrolet through the 2026 season. Sounds great, right? Well, hold on a second, and here's what makes this situation so interesting. Kyle Busch is not just any driver. This guy has won 63 Cup Series races and grabbed 2 championships back in 2015 and 2019. He's been racing for over 20 years and everyone knows his name. When he joined RCR in 2023, people had huge expectations. And you know what? At first it looked amazing. Busch won 3 races in his first 16 starts with the team. He took home wins at Auto Club Speedway, Talladega Super Speedway, and Worldwide Technology Raceway. Everything seemed perfect. The partnership was working, but then something changed. Since that last win at St. Louis on June 4th, 2023, Kyle Busch has not won a single race. Not one. We're talking about 69 races without a win. For a guy who used to win all the time, this is hard to watch. The 2024 season was even worse. It became the first year in Kyle Busch's entire Cup Series career where he didn't win at all. Think about that. A driver who built his reputation on winning couldn't find victory lane even once. When his contract was announced in May 2025, things weren't much better. Busch was in 17th place in the point standings. That's the first spot outside the playoff picture. He's only got 1 top 5 finish this entire season. And oh yeah, he turned 40 years old earlier this month. So when RCR announced this contract extension, people noticed something important. They only extended him for 1 year. Not 2 years, not 3 years, just 1 more season. That tells you something. Team President Mike Verlander confirmed they picked up the option on Busch's contract. It wasn't a big new deal, it was just exercising an option that was already there. Still, both Kyle Busch and team owner Richard Childress showed up to make the announcement and tried to sound positive about everything. Richard Childress said some interesting things. He told everyone, "We're proud to continue our relationship with Kyle Busch and remain focused on our shared goals of winning races and championships together." Then he added, "Kyle is a tremendous racer and ambassador of the sport for our fans and partners." But here's where it gets real. Childress admitted something important. He said, "I think we let him down in 2024. That's the team owner taking responsibility for Kyle's first winless season. Childress knows they didn't give Busch the equipment he needed to win." Childress also talked about their competitive fire. He said, "He and I are both alike in one area that we don't like to lose. We want to win races." Anyone who knows Kyle Busch knows this is true. The guy hates losing more than anything. And Childress still believes in championships. He said, "I still think that Kyle will win him a championship, and we want it to happen at RCR, and that's our plans." So what went wrong? Why did Kyle Busch go from winning 3 times in 16 races to not winning at all for almost 2 years? Busch gave an honest answer about this. He explained that when he first joined RCR, they were doing some things within the rules that gave them extra speed. But then NASCAR came down on those practices. They didn't like what RCR was doing and made them stop. Busch said, "That's sort of where we've lost a little bit if people are wondering, why have we not been able to win like we did in the first 16 races?" There's also the next-gen car situation. Richard Childress explained that this car is different from what they've raced before. He said it's so engineer-driven that they had to step up their engineering department. That takes time and money. Busch knows there are problems everywhere. He mentioned they need to improve behind the wheel, on pit road, in the engineering department, and basically everywhere else. He said, all of the above. But here's the thing that gives some hope. RCR made big changes between 2024 and 2025. They promoted Mike Verlander to team president. This guy used to run Kyle Busch Motorsports and worked as executive vice president at Childress Racing. He knows what he's doing. They also moved Tori Galita from president to vice chairman. They brought in John Klausmeyer as technical director. And they got Richard Boswell to be the crew chief for Austin Dillon's number 3 car. Kyle Busch actually helped make these changes happen. He played a big role in the team's off-season retooling. They listened to what he said they needed. Speaking of Austin Dillon, that partnership seems to be working really well. Dillon is Richard Childress' grandson, and he's been racing for RCR for 12 seasons now. He's won the Daytona 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 before. This year, Dillon's average finish is 18.4. That's more than 4 positions better than last year. The changes are helping him too. Dillon had some really nice things to say about racing with Kyle Busch. He said, "I feel like he gives you what you expect, which is that he's a hard worker. He's fiery. He wants the best for the cars. He wants to get to victory lane constantly, and will push everyone to figure out how to make that happen." Dillon also said Busch is super helpful in meetings. He asks good questions about what the car is doing and shares information that helps everyone get better. Dillon said, "You couldn't ask for a more helpful teammate when it comes to his knowledge of the game." Kyle Busch returned the compliment. He called Austin a fantastic teammate and said they work together really well. They talk about the same things and describe car problems in similar ways. Busch said Dillon has been a really good resource to rely on. Now let's talk about what Kyle Busch thinks about all this. Despite the struggles, he sounds pretty happy at RCR. He said, "I feel like my family and I have found a home at RCR, and it means a lot that Richard continues to put his trust into me." That family part matters. His wife and kids are settled and comfortable. Busch also made it clear he's not done yet. He said, "My chapter at RCR is not yet complete, and I know we are building something special here." He wants to win races and another championship. He said, "I remain focused on adding more wins and a championship to our collective resumes." About the losing streak, Busch called it a little humbling, but he's trying to stay positive. He said, "I'm excited for the next win whenever that is. I feel like there are times where it gives you that motivation and gives you that itch to get back to victory lane." One thing people wonder about is retirement. Kyle Busch just turned 40, but he says he's not thinking about quitting yet. He won't consider retirement until his son Brexton is old enough to race on the national circuit. Brexton is only 10 years old right now, so Kyle's got some more years in him. Richard Childress even hinted that he wants to sign Busch to a longer deal in the future. He said there is a big future for Kyle, so maybe this one-year extension is just the start. But Childress also showed confidence in the short term. He said, "I think we will win a race with him this year." That's a bold statement considering they haven't won since June 2023. RCR was the first team to win championships in the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series. They've won the Daytona 500 3 times. This is a team with serious history, and Kyle Busch has serious history too. He started at Hendrick Motorsports for 3 seasons. Then he spent 15 years at Joe Gibbs Racing, where he won both his championships. When he left JGR after 2022, a lot of people were surprised he went to RCR instead of staying with a bigger team. The real question is, what happens next? Can RCR turn things around with all these new people and changes? Can Kyle Busch find that winning speed again at age 40? Will this one-year extension turn into something longer?